And you never, I love it because you never hear a kid answer and say, yeah, when I get older, I want to do really bad in high school and flunk out, maybe get my GED, and then work at McDonald's for 6 weeks. I mean, you don't hear kids say that. You don't hear it like a kid say this when they're younger. Yeah, when I'm older, I hope to be 35, living in my parents' basement. Sounds pretty good. And sleeping on their couch kind of thing, have my friends over, play video games, have Cheetos on my sweatshirt, and never date a girl, right? You don't hear people say something like that because no one wants to do that, right? That doesn't seem like that's success. That doesn't seem like that's something great that you can accomplish in life. Like, no little boy grows up wanting to wear a suit and a briefcase to work, right? They don't want to have that job where you sit in the corner of the office and you stare at the wall and there's no windows and you're there for 30 plus years and your boss yells at you and you don't make much money. No one dreams that when they're little, right? They have these huge, big dreams of what they want to be when they get older. And I love to see that in little kids because what they're saying is this, is that kids, even from the youngest of ages, you can see that God has placed this idea, this passion, that this longing inside of their soul to be good, to be great, and to be successful at whatever they do in life. And what better place to see that but when you ask a kid the question, what do you want to do when you get older? See, I have no doubt that God wants you, he wants me to be successful, he wants me and you to be great in this life for his name. Now, here's the problem. The problem, and I'm going to kind of rip on America a little bit today, so if you love America, I'm not trying to say that I don't like America, because I do, but the problem is that we live in a society, we live in America, in a culture that oftentimes tells us what we're supposed to do. Right? Like when it comes to defining success or greatness in this lifetime, a lot of times what your kids do and what you do as adults is you look to see what your culture tells us, and you don't even realize it, but you do it. And you look around and you're like, man, well, success for us in America means this, and success for us in America means that. And we are so fixated, and we don't even realize it, but we begin to adopt the rules of our culture that we live in. We begin to conform to what our society tells us greatness and success is in this lifetime. And here's what America tells us. Here's what they tell you. Here's what they tell me. Here's what they tell your kids. They say, if you're rich, if you have a lot of money in life, that means that people will think that you're great. That means that people will think that you're successful in whatever you do on this earth. Right? I mean, that's what our society tells us. You open up the newspaper, you don't see a story of some random guy working at a minimum wage job, but you see the stories of like the rags to riches, the person that didn't have much money and they won the lotto and now people love them. Or you see the story of the guy who started a business and he struggled for a long time and now he's a millionaire. And now people are like, man, he's so great, he's a genius. I mean, you see these kind of stories in our society, and you never hear the story of the guy making $20,000 a year. Because everybody in our society pretty much desires to be rich. And for us in our society, being rich means that you are successful, and it means that you are great. One of the television shows that I watch sometimes, so don't judge me when I say this, I watch this show every once in a while, is the Oprah Winfrey Show. So, yeah, sorry. It's kind of embarrassing. But there's a couple reasons why I watch it, so I'll give those to you, just so you don't judge me. One of the reasons I watch Oprah is because sometimes you just got to cry, right? Sometimes, guys, you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes you just got to have a good cry. And I don't care who you are. You can be the manliest man in the room. It just feels good to cry sometimes, right? I mean, come on, right? No? Okay, never mind. Forget I said that. No, for me personally, okay, maybe not for you, but I watch Oprah because I get a good cry. But I also sometimes watch Oprah because I don't know if I'm right on this, but I'm pretty perceptive on things. I think, now don't judge me for this, don't get mad at me for this, because last crowd booed me when I said this. I think that Oprah might be the Antichrist. I'm just saying. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe she's just, I don't know. I'm just saying, a lot of people like her. She's got a lot of influence. She's got a lot of, maybe she's the Antichrist. And so for me, as a pastor of this church, I feel like it's my responsibility to watch Oprah for you to see if I see any clues about her being the Antichrist. So I'll let you know, okay? All right? Now, I didn't hear this last service, someone booed me when I said that, and I wish I would have heard that, because I'm not trying to, I'm just saying, she might be, you never know. Nothing against Oprah, we love her. I watch her to cry, so there you go. But Oprah, she's rich, right? She's got a lot of money. In fact, she's one of the only women in the world that have $1 billion. I mean, she just has money like flowing out her ears. I mean, she just has so much cash. And so when people think about Oprah, that's what they think about. They think, well, she's great, and she does all these nice things for people, and, I like her talk show, she makes me cry, that kind of stuff. She may be the Antichrist. People have all these debates about Oprah, but we can't deny the fact that Oprah is rich. And when people think of Oprah, they don't think, oh, she's not successful. She's not great. They think, no, she is very great. She is very successful because she has made a ton of money. I mean, Oprah's story is she grew up in a small southern city, and now she's a billionaire. I mean, there you go, the American dream. And people think that means that she's great, successful in this life. And maybe it does. And that's what people say. Another person that's just rich, crazy rich, is Donald Trump. Yeah, I love Donald Trump for a couple reasons too. I love him because he's rich, and he gives Rosie a hard time, but I love watching that kind of go back and forth. But I also love Donald because I love his hair. Like, his hair is just awesome. I mean, when I get older, I don't want to have hair like that because that's just hideous. And if you have a comb over here, I'm sorry. You might want to change that. But Donald like when I watch him on TV, I just stare at his hair. It's just mesmerizing. I'm like, ooh, he's like drawing me in. And Donald, I don't even know what he's talking about. Just the hair. But he's rich, right? If you walk up to a random person and say, hey, when you think of Donald Trump, they're going to say a couple things. What do you think about? They're going to say, well, his hair. But they're going to say he's rich. I mean, he has his own TV show, or at least he used to, called The Apprentice, and he has his own company in which he does like real estate stuff, and so he's just made just a ton of money from doing these different things. Donald Trump is rich, and people, when they think of Donald Trump, don't think that he's a loser. They don't think that he's not successful. They think that he is very great and very successful because he has made a lot of money in this life. If you're rich in America, you're successful and you're great according to our society. Another thing that our society tells us is that if you're very talented or if you're very good at a specific task or a specific job that you have in life, then people will look at you and they'll say, man, I want to be like that person, and they'll consider you successful and great in this lifetime. When I was growing up in the 90s, Michael Jordan was just the greatest basketball player ever, right? I think we can all agree on that. He just was good. I mean, he won, I think, 6 NBA titles. He won MVP awards. He was always the guy at the end of the game that the team gave the ball to because they knew that he was going to make the shot. I mean, he was just great. And so for me growing up, I had like the Nike shoes on. I would walk around and sing the song, I want to be like Mike. And I would sing that, and I loved Michael Jordan. I would always ask for like the Jordans at Christmas time, and just because I thought it was cool, and I wanted to be like Mike. And everybody looked at Michael Jordan, and everybody wanted to be like Michael Jordan. Why? Because he was really, really, really good at what he did. I mean, he was the best. And so little boys would grow up and say, man, when I get older, I want to be like Michael Jordan. I want to play basketball like him. Not because he was 6'6", not because, had nice cars and a big house. I mean, those are all cool things, but we wanted to be like Michael Jordan. Why? Because he was really, really good at his job, right? And so America tells us that if you're good at your job, man, you got it made. You're successful, right? If you get really good at your job, you can buy a nice house. And if you get a really cool position, then other guys will want to be you. And so they feed us these lines, this idea that the better you are at what you do, the more success that you'll have in this lifetime. America also tells us this, especially girls, especially young girls. They preach and they say this all the time, that if you're young or if you're a girl, that you have to have a specific body type, you have to wear a specific wardrobe, you have to have the right shoes, the right haircut, and if you have those things going for you, then you'll have a good life, right? I mean, that's what they tell us. You open up a magazine, you watch, TV shows like Entertainment Tonight. I mean, kids go to school, and that's what it's all about, man. It's all about the wardrobe and your image and what you're portraying to other people, because to America, that's important. And to our society and our culture, that is a big deal. If you can have the right look, then you will have success, and you will be considered great in this lifetime. And as a result, young girls across America struggle with eating disorders. They struggle with low self-esteem because they bought into what our culture is telling them. And they want the ideal life. They want the successful life. They want the nice husband. They want the nice house. They want the ideal dream American life. And they think that if they look a certain way, that will help them get that. They think that their image is going to make them be successful and great in this lifetime. And then one more thing that America just preaches, especially to young people, but even to adults. We fall prey to this lie that America tells us. America tells us also that the more friends you have, the more important you are. Like the more friends you have, the bigger your circle, that the more people will love you, the more people will like you, the more people will want to be you. And so we do that as adults. And you know what? To be honest, I do that sometimes in my life. I fall kind of prey and fall victim into the middle school and high school kind of mindset of, man, I want to be popular. I want to be liked. I want people, when they think of me, to say, man, I like that guy. And if we're totally honest here, we feel that way as adults, right? I mean, you come to church sometimes, and sometimes you come to church and you want a lot of people to come around you. You want to be the center of attention. It's just how our society has brought us up, this idea that the more friends you have, the greater you're going to be.